Good afternoon, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 86. It is a Sunday afternoon. It is about 3 o'clock p.m., and I am heading out for the day. What did I do so far today? Let's look back here at my day so far. Woke up early and went outside, and I have 2 sheds outside and a chicken coop, and decided to take down the sheds. So took apart 2 10 by 10 sheds completely and chopped them up and built a fire and put the pieces in the fire and got this huge roaring fire going and burned both of the sheds completely. And we have, I think, 1 chicken left at this point, between chickens dying, things happening, all kinds of craziness. And I don't know where she is right now. She was running around the yard, so I don't know where she is. But so that was a feat right there. It was a lot of work. They're 10 by 10 foot sheds that are about 12 feet tall, just a standard shed, and got those completely gone. Took a couple of leave, took a shower, actually started working on it, and then took a couple of leave, took a shower, went to church, came back, finished them up, took another shower, had some pizza, which we ordered from Domino's Pizza, and I remembered that there was an app that I had heard about, not an app, a website, I guess it's an app as well, where you can actually buy gift cards for cheaper than face value. I think it was this one here. It is called Raise.com, R-A-I-S-E, Raise.com, and then you get part of it in Raise Cash. I don't know what that is. So I got a $100 gift card, I got $15 in Raise Cash, and like 8% off on top of that. So I got over 20% off on these cards, which is good. And then my wife used a special to get 4 large pizzas for like $29. So if you count the money that I saved by getting the gift cards, basically like $8 for 4 large pizzas, multiple toppings and all that. So that's all good. I'm tired, and I really considered not doing anything else today, because yesterday was a big work day as well. Worked in the house, worked outside the house, worked in the yard. I also have a section of my yard that was flooded until recently because my county is stupid and will not fix a clogged drain pipe. So everything is coming to my pipe, which is the backup, which is an 8-inch instead of a 20-inch. And so sometimes my yard floods, and I feel like my only solution is to sue the county and get them to do the work, because it's been years now, and I had to rent a backhoe and do a bunch of work myself a couple years ago. So anyway, although I'm tired, I'm excited, I'm ready to go, ready to make some money, round out this month in a good way. I have to remember to put my entries in for BJ21 in the next day or two, and all will be good. Right now I'm heading off to my first casino. I expect to play some slots there. Probably won't make much, 50 or 100 bucks, but it's on my way. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and update you, let you know what's going on. Alright guys, so as I'm continuing on here to my first spot, I decided to go to the jewelry store yesterday. I needed to get some stuff cleaned, and I wanted to look around for a new necklace for myself. So I got a necklace many years ago, and I wore it for longer than most, or a lot of the people listening here have been alive. So I wore it a very long time, and just in the last couple of years I noticed I'd wake up and it would kind of be choking me. Obviously I'm getting older, my neck's getting bigger, and I stopped wearing it after a lot of years. I don't even want to tell you how many years. So I decided just to look and see how much a necklace would cost. I want something nice. I want something that's going to be at least 18 karat gold. 14 karat gold looks very cheap, and I don't like the white gold that much. It looks like silver, and I might as well get silver. So I asked, and we're probably looking at, just for something cheap, that's not too, you know, microscopic in thickness. We're looking at about $2,400. So I don't like that idea too much. I may do something, but if I'm going to spend $2,400, I'm going to make it really nice. I'll design something for myself. So we'll see. One other option was to extend the necklace I already have, but in order to do that, they would have to have something just like it and then take pieces from it, and the wear's not going to be the same, so they put it in the back. And they thought, well, maybe we could find something that looks like it, that's just a bracelet, and then we could add that, but I think that's going to look like it's pieced together. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So for now, I'm not going to do anything, but just keeping in the back of my mind that I may want to buy a necklace in the future, or I may start wearing my old one again, you know, maybe slim down a little bit. I don't know, we'll see. So yeah, I'm just keeping that in mind. I do like necklaces with crosses on them, but anything that's kind of like nice and flashy, like diamonds and stuff like that, is generally for kids or ladies. So I don't think I've ever even, well, I've seen it, but I think you need to kind of create your own if you want a cross in diamonds for men. So I don't know, I'm thinking about it. So anyway, continuing on my trip here. Right now it's 86 degrees outside, beautiful day, mostly cloudy, but the sun is out right now. Very nice day outside. Probably 15 mile per hour winds. So you know, you're not really feeling the heat because it's windy, but you can definitely get sunburned right now. So letting you go, continuing on, and I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. It is hot outside. Man, how could it have been 30 degrees 2 days ago, and now it's 86 degrees outside? It's terrible. So I pull into the parking lot in this place, and I park, and I'm walking in, and I see this guy. He's got his hood open, and he calls my name, my real name. I'm like, what's going on here? I look over. He's driving exactly the same model and color car that I am. So I walk up, and oh, it's a guy that I know, a guy who's not a very good gambler, I might add. But I walk up, and he's trying to jump the car, and with this car it's hard to reach the negative charge on the battery, so the negative port. So they actually have a wire run to the front so you can connect to that if you need to jump the car. So I showed him that, and that worked for him. He started it right up, and I said, you know, I'm moving on to this other city. If you want to come, I can bring you back this way if I need to. Normally I'd come back a different way, but I could, you know, if he wants to go. And he says, well, I've got to stop by the hospital to pick up medicine for my son first. I said, well, how long will it take for you to drop it off? And he said, I'm not dropping it off, I'm just picking it up. I said, well, I'm leaving here in about half an hour, 40 minutes if you want to go. And I don't think he was going to anyway, but so I let him go. I walk into this place, and he said, there's no point going in there. I said, why not? He said, everybody's already got everything. So, okay, everyone's got everything, then it'll be quick, right? So I walk in. One of the first machines I look at, like second or third machine I look at, I find a play. I play that through, I win whatever, $20, $30. Move on, find another play, and then he reminded me, he said, make sure you swipe your card today because you win a prize. I said, okay. He goes, you'll probably just get $10, but might as well try to do it anyway. I said, okay. So after I was done looking at all the different plays, because I'm going to do that first. For a maybe, I'm not going to do that right away and possibly miss out on stuff. I'll go through all the machines first, and then I'll come back, and then if there's something for free, then I'll deal with it then. So I swipe the card, and there's a thing that you spin, and it tells you how much you won. And I won $10. Okay, $10. But to the right where it says, congratulations, you've won it says 3,000 points. Like, okay, this is interesting. The thing is pointing at $10. There is no 3,000 points on the wheel. There's a 2,000, I think, but I won 3,000 points. So I go check it on a machine, no money. Another one, no money. I go to the cashier. It takes me 15 minutes to explain it to the cashier, to finally get a supervisor who doesn't have the power to put money on the card, who calls another supervisor, who finally, and then she asked me for my ID all over again, even though she had just returned it to me. And so I ended up finally getting that $10, played it through. I ended up leaving that place ahead $146. So plus $146 there at my first stop. That was my wife calling me, so I'm gonna pick that up and see what she needs, and hopefully the journey is not over yet, so I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I'm back. I'm still on my way to the second spot here, but I had kind of an unusual phone call that I bet you have never had anyone ask you for what I was asked for on this phone call. I have a friend who's an African guy, and he called me and said, "Joe, do you know where I can get some camel milk?" No, I can't say that I do. I never really thought about it. I guess it would be like drinking horse milk. I mean, why do you want that? He's like, somebody told me that you can be tall if you drink camel milk. I'm like, okay, well, maybe like you get your vitamins and you won't be short because you have nutrition, but you're a full-grown man. You're about 50 years old. I don't understand why you're asking me this. And he said, well, I know that you know how to find things, so see if you can find it for me. I said, okay. So I looked on Amazon. Where else are you going to look? You know, I'm not going to call my dairy and say, hey, how many camels do you have over there? And I found it on Amazon. It comes out to around $250 a gallon, so I think he's probably going to pass on that. But I'm like, I can't believe that anybody would call me. Why don't you call one of your African friends that if they drink that in your home country and you know people from that country, maybe they know where to get it, because I don't know where to get it. I'd never even thought about it before. So anyway, all right, so right now I'm noticing a problem here with this vehicle, and it happens to a lot of Ford vehicles, I think, that you have a problem with changing the vent from one setting to another. So like, I think it's up on top right now in the defrost area, and I can't switch it over to being on my face because it's hot. 86 degrees, it's hot. So I'm gonna have to look into that. I think it's just a small part that you change out. It's pretty easy to do. I know people who have done it before, so I'll see if maybe it is working, just not as much as I want it to. So maybe this next weekend I'll do that. Right now I'm about 40 miles away from the next stop, and I have 23 miles of gas. So I pulled up my app here, and I see a place up here that's got 42 cents a gallon off, and I think that's the exit, or close to the exit, I'm going to take anyway. And we'll stop and get some fuel, and then we should be good until the very end of our trip, and we'll fill up again right before we get home, and we'll be ready for tomorrow. Now it turns out tomorrow, of course, Monday, Tuesday, stay close to home, but I have to take a kid to a dental appointment as well, so that'll be lovely. So we'll be doing that too. So all right now, letting you go, and I'll be back to update you soon. All right guys, I'm back. Did I just steal money? I don't know. I don't think so. So this place is really crowded today, and I went into the VIP area, which I learned, and I've got a VIP card, but I learned that with this place, the gate goes down so slowly that if you tailgate behind somebody, you can get into the VIP area even without one, even though I don't need to. So I go into the VIP area, I park my car, I walk into the casino from that side of the casino, and usually I do things the other way, so I'm not used to walking that way. It's not a big deal, but so I'm doing my rounds backwards, basically. So, look around, don't see anything. Go to the back area, don't see anything. I find a couple tiny plays. They paid me like $20 or $30, and that was it. And then I came back around to the front. There's a lady that was on a machine, and every time I'd come around, she was still on it. So I'm checking every little corner because I'm trying to waste time for a minute just to see if she gets off it, because there could be some big variance on that machine. So I find one machine on the edge of the casino, way on the outside of the casino. I sit down, and it's a higher risk machine. I haven't done great on it in the past, although it is one that has a lot of potential. And I'm involved with this machine for about $10 before it finally hits, pays me like whatever, $30, $40, something like that. So I'm good. I said, all right, I'm leaving. I'm just going to check that one machine one more time. And I walk by a machine, and there's $1.44 in this machine. Nobody's around. There's a card in it, but it's been expired. It says session abandoned on there. So someone hasn't been there for a long time. So I put my voucher in over that. And as soon as my voucher goes in, a lady goes, oh, somebody's sitting there. I'm like, oh, great. I just put my voucher in. I said, there was $1.44 in there. I said, I don't know who was here, but here's $1 when they come back. I don't have any change. And then she's like, there he is right there. And the guy's coming back, and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you were still here. I put it in there. You had $1.44. I've got $1, but I don't have any change. He's like, don't worry about it. I'm like, okay. So I'm leaving, and as I'm leaving, that lady gets up off that machine. So I guess there was a reason. And I sit down at that machine. I find a play. I play it. I lose a couple dollars. And so maybe there wasn't a reason. And I end up leaving ahead $130. So plus $130 at that spot. I saw a lot of people checking a lot of things, which is normal for the weekend. Nothing to be upset about. You know, people aren't working today, and they're in here on top of the regular people who are camping out behind machines 18 hours a day, which someone's got to do something about eventually. But anyway, so plus 130 there. While I'm in there, I get a call from my son, and another call, and another call, and another call, and I text him, and I said, I can't talk to you right now. What's up? And he said, the mower is broken. And I'm like, everybody says the mower's broken all the time. It's 17 years old. Everybody wants me to get a new mower, but I'm not going to as long as it's running. He said, the neighbor came by, and he said there was no oil in there, and so you burned out the mower. No, I don't think so. I just used that mower earlier today, because after we knocked down the sheds, you know, all this area that hadn't been mowed very well because the kids didn't want to mow too close to the sheds. I went back there and I mowed it real good, and then I drove the shed into the garage. I turned it off. It was running fine. Nobody understands how to start this thing but me, and I just don't understand why. It's so simple, and I've explained it to them, but when I get home, whatever time that is, 2 or 3 in the morning, I'm not going to be able to do it, but as soon as I'm at home and it's daylight and I'm not going to wake up the neighbors, I will move the mower back into the garage. Obviously, nobody's going to steal it because nobody knows how to start the darn thing. So, anyway, right now, so beautiful. Oh, by the way, after I filled up the gas, everything was working fine with the air conditioning, so it was blowing fine. So I don't know what happened there for a minute, but luckily everything's back to normal. I actually had to turn it down because it was getting cold in the car. I do like it cold, though. I always have it at like whatever the lowest is, 58 degrees or whatever. All right. Right now, I am heading toward the next casino. We're going to play some blackjack finally. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Let's make some money. We're up whatever, 270, 280, whatever it might be so far. Let's make 700 or 800 at this place, and then we'll move on. So right now, I'm letting you go, moving on, and I'll be back to update you soon. All right, guys, I am back. So something really unusual here. Hasn't happened in a while like this, but so the city, I don't know what's going on in the city right now, but all kinds of streets are blocked off and police everywhere and everything. So I pull into this place. I find a parking spot. I go in. Nothing on slots. I looked at, well, first I went to the Blackjack area. Completely packed. Nowhere to sit. Almost all the tables were open. So obviously there's some kind of major event going on. So I make my rounds of the slots. I find nothing. Nothing at all. Not even an iffy play. Nothing. I go back to the Blackjack area and I see a player putting the cut card in the shoe, and they're about to start a new shoe. I sit down. I put out $500. I start playing. First hand, the dealer puts out an ace to the guy next to me, and then a guy sits down to my left. It's a no mid shoe. And says, here, I'm here. And he deals to me, then he deals back to the first player, and the guy was all upset. Hey, I was here. And he's like, well, I already dealt a card before you got here, no mid-shoe, which is really stupid. No mid-shoe is meant for card counting and stuff like that, but, you have one card out. Come on, it's the spirit of the rule, but I don't really care, because I'd rather play heads up or me and one other person. So, anyway, I play 3 shoes or so. I think 3 shoes all the way through to the end. And I flat bet every hand except the last 2 hands. It was at one point on the first shoe, we were at a running minus 19, a deck and a half into the shoe. And it stayed negative all the way through to the end of the shoe, never went positive. And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, I need to get up, but where am I going to go? Am I done playing? And I was lucky because that whole shoe was like chopping back and forth with the dealer. And by the end of the shoe, I was either up a quarter, down a quarter, or something like that. So it's not like I was losing money. So I was being patient, and the other player was doing the same. But he was fluctuating his bet between 50 and 400, even though it was negative the whole time, like he knows. But so obviously I'm the only one here that knows what he's doing. Go into the next shoe, flat all the way through. Go into the next shoe, flat all the way through. And then 3 hands before the end of the shoe, I get 5 or 6 cards. The other player gets 5 or 6 cards. The dealer gets 5 or 6 cards. And all of a sudden we're at a running 11. And now we have like just about a deck and a quarter, maybe a little bit less to go. I'm like, okay, so I've been flat betting for 3 shoes, never raised my bet, and now I'm going to go max bet? How is that going to look? So I said, you know what, I got to get out of here. And I put out 300 on a hand. I've been betting 50 the whole way. Put out 300 on a hand, and I win the hand. I put out 400 on the next hand. I'm trying to act like, hey, I gotta leave, I gotta get out of here, blah blah blah. And I'd been building up to this as, it was neutral the whole time. I was thinking to myself, what am I gonna say when I all of a sudden start raising big at the end of a shoe? And this place specifically, some of the people here know me from years and years ago. And people move around from casino to casino, so I'm known by a few people here, specifically the pit boss that is standing there. So, put out a $400 hand. The guy next to me gets 2 10s, and I get a 410. I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. The dealer has a face card. I'm like, dang it, now I just raised all this, and the cut card comes out as he's putting my second card out. So now I got to decide, first of all, hopefully I win this hand, and then I got to decide, am I staying or leaving? And then if I'm staying for some reason, what am I doing at the next shoe? Am I starting back at min bet again, or what am I doing? Am I changing my mind in my story where I'm saying I'm leaving after this, or I'm leaving at the end of the shoe, or something like that? So I've got a 4 king or something, and the dealer has a king. And so I hit it, and I get a 5, so I have a 19. I'm reasonable shape, right? The other player has a 20, I have a 19. Dealer has a face card. It's like +9, +8, somewhere in there for the count, with 1 deck to go. So odds are he's got a 10 underneath. He flips over a 7, and I'm like, well, I'm out of here. So it worked out perfectly in that my story worked out. You know what I mean? I said I was going to leave at the end of the shoe. I acted frustrated. The whole time I'd been saying, one of these hands I'm just going to go all in or something like that. And so I thought I played that pretty well. I ended up leaving at the end of that shoe plus $650. And then I looked at the slots earlier, found nothing, went back, looked at slots again, found nothing. And I was going to order some food, but the line was long, and knowing that there's no slots, what am I going to do? I'm going to waste 20 minutes waiting for some food. So usually if I see some kind of a play, I'll go back to it and I'll play it while I'm waiting for food, but there was nothing like that, so I just decided to move on. So I ended the session ahead 650, and then didn't play any slots, spreading from $50 to $400. The low was minus 300 or maybe a little bit more, and the high was plus 650 at the end of that last hand. And I only played that table for about 25 to 30 minutes, but that was enough for me. So leaving ahead, and right now moving on to a okay casino. I'm either going to find something huge here or nothing at all, so hopefully we find something good. Letting you go for now. I'll be back to update you soon. Alright guys, I'm back. So I want to make a prediction here that I'm going to find nothing in this casino. I just got the first parking spot in this casino. The parking lot is half empty, so even when I was in northern Michigan in the tiny little Native American casinos, I saw more cars than this, so I don't think I'm going to have much happen in here. I've seen strip mall casinos with more cars than this, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully other advantage players stayed away from it as well, because they didn't think anything was happening. I'll be back to update you probably in about 10 minutes. Alright guys, I'm back. See, I told you. See, how long was that? Well, look at your time there. See, 10 minutes, in and out. So I walk in this place and I look around. I see nothing. There's only 1 or 2 machines left to check. And I go in that area, take a look, and this lady had something on the screen, but she switched levels. I couldn't see it. The machine next to her, though, had a play. So I played that one through, and while I was playing it, I checked hers, and it really wasn't where I wanted it to be. But I was borderline on a play, but this place is normally kind of tight anyway, so I wasn't exactly enthusiastic about it. But it was at $2 a spin. I thought, maybe I'd have a chance on it. So I gave it a shot. The day is going well. Give it a shot as I'm watching the sunset behind a mountain right now. Anyway, so I gave it a chance, and it did hit within 30 spins or so, and I ended up leaving that machine ahead $480. Perfect, just the way you want it. And that was the only thing I played. I was in and out, like I said, real quick. There wasn't anything else, and it wasn't very busy. The machines were pretty dead. There was only one machine that I didn't check that someone was on, but she looked like the type that's going to be on there for a long time. And just from what I saw doing my walk by, it didn't look like anything was going to be on there. So all good, all good. So we got the 1,000 that we wanted, right? Let's move on and try to get some more money. Let me see. Right now, looking at the time, it looks like it could be an early night. Can't go back to the same place I was. Let's move on to another area here. I'm trying to think. There's one casino that's about 100 miles from here, but that would be a couple hours, and then it would put me way off my normal roads that I take. It would put me by about 5 hours away. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to move on to another casino like I normally would, and we'll see what happens there. So letting you go for now. Watching the sunset, counting my money. I'll be back. Oh, there's a reason why that hit, and that is when I parked under a tree with a lot of birds in it. I don't know if you know this trick or not. And when a bird poops on your car, it's good luck. I didn't see the poop, but I know it's there somewhere. But there was a lot of noisy birds at the end of the parking lot where I parked closest to the casino. So it's always a good spot. Let the birds christen your car, and you usually win some money. So anyway, I'll be back. All right, guys, I'm back. Whew, starting to feel tired now. Now it's getting late at night, and I'm starting to feel it. I go into the next place, and from looking at the parking lot, you would think it wasn't very busy, but it was packed in there. Lots of people. I started making my normal rounds, and one of my new, more favorite machines had a guy on there, and it was ready to hit at a couple different levels, and I was very interested in whether or not he was going to get up. So I take a lap, I come back, he's still there, I take another lap, I come back. Meanwhile, I'm just finding tiny plays, up 20, up 10, stuff like that. And then I come back around, and it looks like he's still there, but actually he and his girlfriend, wife, whatever, are moved over a couple seats. So I walk over and take a look, and yeah, that's right, he's not sitting in the seat anymore. I sit down, start playing. They are on a whole different type of machine at this point, and they hit some kind of a big thing, $300 or something, and they're happy to leave, which is fine with me. The less attention, the better. And I play that one through, and I end up ahead like 130 for the session. And I started thinking, like twice in the last week, I've had 2 sessions back-to-back, or almost back-to-back, for the same amount of money, but it didn't happen. I did find one other play on my way out, and played that one through, and ended my session ahead $153. So another $153 there, trying to do all the right things, trying to stay away from, temptation to take okay plays instead of good plays. Really trying to think things through and do the right things, and that's easier to do when you're having a good day than a bad day, I can tell you that. But overall, things are still going well today. I give myself at least an A or an A minus for what I've done so far today. I think back to that blackjack, and I'm trying to think what's another way for me to play it. I mean, the best way would be to continue playing until you burn the place out, but I've been playing this place for 3 years. I don't want to burn it out right now. I want to continue to enjoy the money in this place. So I think I did the right thing, because I had flat bet for so long, and then to go to 6 and then 8 times the bet, and then the shoot ends, and I'm going to have to go back to reset. Just didn't make sense. Otherwise, if I didn't go back to reset, I'm giving up EV, and for what? It doesn't make sense. So anyway, I left this place ahead $153. Right now I'm moving on to another spot. It's been dark for a while now. I need to finally get to this place, get in the parking lot, switch out my players cards, and then we'll give that one a shot. That one's been pretty bad lately. Just too many people and not enough players filling up the machines for the number of advantage players taking the money out of the machines. So unfortunately, but it only adds about another 20 minutes to my trip, so I'm going to do it, and we'll see how it goes. So letting it go right now. Temperature's starting to fall. It's down to 75 degrees. It feels a lot better not having that sun beating down on you, and I'm continuing on. I'll be back. Alright guys, I am back. So I didn't expect much from this place at all, and so I just went in there thinking I'm just going to take a lap, see how things are. Whatever happens, not a big deal. I walk in, some machines have been changed around. A lot of the machines that were beatable before are no longer beatable. They have the same game with a different version of the same game. So that's unfortunate. A lot of other games are just not being played anymore. That's unfortunate. But I did find a play on a machine that I've said before people in this area really don't care for. They don't really check, and lots of times I'll find big plays on there. And I found a play at $3 a spin. I made about, I want to say about 120 on that one. And then I looked around and found another play that it's kind of a high variance machine, but a lot of people have given up on it because of that. And so unless it's in excellent position, I won't play it. And it looked like it was going to pay out around 70x the bet, which was like $1.25 or so. And so I played it out, and it did pay pretty close to that, just a little bit under that. And then moved on. Looked at some other things and really couldn't find a play anymore. Got myself something to drink, went into another room, lost about $4 or $5 on a machine, and then about $20 on another one, and then gained about $80 on another one. And if you add all of it together, ended up ahead for the session $288. So plus 288 more. We had a perfect day today. We had 6 stops. We made 146, 130, 650, 480, 153, and 288. And just some quick math, that's about 1847. Double check that, but I think it's around 1847. So that's a really, really nice Sunday, considering only about 25 minutes of blackjack and about 2/3 of the money came from slots. As you know, slots have been really bad for me the last week or so. There's not a lot of opportunity, too many people playing them, and I think I just got the right timing and played the machines that other people just don't check, and it all lined up perfectly for me and made it for a pretty good night so far. So I'm probably going to wrap it up. I'm going to leave this open for a second while I consider my options. It's not as late as I thought it would be at this point. The problem is the next closest casino is going to be, well, still about from here about another 100 miles. So, and it would be 100 miles directly away from home, which means it's 200 miles. Which, as I'm saying that, makes it sound ridiculous for me to do that for one more stop. However, that one does give me an opportunity to play some really good double deck blackjack. Let's see, it's about midnight right now. Just doesn't make sense. 2, that's 4. Oh no, that's right. Yeah, it's not going to make sense. So I think that's going to be it for right now. Just trying to figure it out if there's any possibility, and I think the answer is no. It was a very interesting night, starting with the first spot, the guy needing a jump, and then being called about camel milk, which is absolutely ridiculous why anybody would want to buy it in the United States when you have other kinds of milk, even goat milk, sheep milk, anything, cow milk, you know, so much easier and more abundant. But yeah, that was kind of strange. And then ran into some kind of funny characters today. At my third stop, when I was driving in the city to my third stop, I see, you know, I see a lot of dates today on people. So I saw a girl walking down the street with shorts on, and on the back of her legs, on the back of her left leg, it said 19, and on her right leg, it said 88. So I assume that's the year she was born, which would make her, whatever, 36 this year. Kind of crazy to see that, like huge, like 4 or 5 inch lettering on there. And then I saw another one that had on her shoulder, it had her birth date, which was like February 28th, what was it, like 1993, which was weird. Is that something new that people are doing, putting their own stuff? I mean, I don't have any tattoos, but if I did get one, I think it would be something to do with my kids, not myself. It's kind of weird, or something religious maybe, but I just don't see myself doing any of that. So kind of interesting. Saw some very interesting characters walking around, and also inside and outside the casinos. It's just it's gone pretty smoothly tonight, but I've seen some craziness tonight as well that I haven't really talked about because it hasn't been anything major. It's just like when you add all of it together, it kind of looks like a very weird mix of characters tonight. But anyway, right now temperature's down to 73 degrees, could not be any more perfect. And of course the sun's been down for hours, light breeze, very nice, dry roads, and light traffic. So heading on home, I think. and we'll pick up on things tomorrow. Tomorrow and Tuesday probably be one episode. Stay closer to home. I might even throw in a poker session. We'll see about that. And yeah, that's about it. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com. mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.